Williams were supposed to rise in 2026, but instead they have dropped straight to the back of the grid. That is the shock nobody saw coming after finishing best of the rest just a season ago. The same team that looked ready to fight the top 4 is now struggling to even reach Q2, and when a jump forward turns into a step backward this fast, it usually means something deeper has gone wrong. The warning signs appeared before the season even started. Williams missed preseason testing in Barcelona while every other team gathered crucial data, and by the time they reached Melbourne, the gap was already clear. Alex Albon could only manage 15th in qualifying, while the car looked unstable and unpredictable across different corners. Carlos Sainz, a proven race winner, expected progress when he joined this project. But instead, he is dealing with a car that is not responding to changes the way it should, and that is what makes this situation serious. Because this is not just about a slow car, the concept itself is not behaving as expected, and every fix seems to create a new problem. Williams aimed to take the next step toward the front, but now they are fighting just to stay competitive. So the real question is, did Williams just get unlucky this season, or were they never truly ready to make that jump in the first place? Williams did not fail overnight. They ran into a level they were never fully ready for. Finishing 5th in 2025 looked like a breakthrough, but the gap to the top 4 was still massive. They scored around 137 points, while teams like Ferrari and Red Bull were operating on a completely different scale. Jumping from leading the midfield to fighting the front is not a small step. It is a completely different game. Carlos Sainz made it clear without saying it directly. He compared this Williams project to McLaren back in 2019, a team that needed years before it could fight for wins. That tells you everything. Alex Albon is pushing the car at its limit, but the pace simply is not there to match the front runners. What looked like momentum was actually just clean execution against weaker midfield teams, not true top-level performance. And that is where the pressure starts to build, because once you aim for the top 4, you are no longer judged by progress, you are judged by results. Williams set that target themselves, and now every race without points feels like a step backward. So before even looking at the car problems, you have to ask one thing: was the target too ambitious for where this team really is right now? Williams are not just losing time, they are fighting a car that is not behaving the way it should. The balance is inconsistent, the grip is unreliable, and the drivers cannot predict how the car will react from one corner to the next. Alex Albon has already pointed out that the car feels unstable in key sections, especially in medium speed corners where confidence matters the most. When a driver cannot trust the car, lap time disappears very quickly. The issue goes deeper than simple setup. The car appears to lack overall downforce, but more importantly, it is not delivering that downforce consistently. In some corners it grips, in others it suddenly lets go. That suggests a problem with the core design, not just adjustments around it. And early data from Melbourne and Shanghai showed that even when they improved one area, another part of the lap got worse, which means the car is not working as a complete package. And that is where things become difficult to fix, because when the concept itself is not stable, every change becomes a risk. You are not just adding performance, you are trying to stop the car from fighting itself. Williams thought they had built a step forward, but right now it looks like a concept that is still not fully understood, and that leads directly into the most frustrating issue of all: the mechanical problems that are making the car even harder to drive. While Williams are searching for answers, Ferrari have quietly built a car that just works. It is not about flashy lap times, it is about consistency. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz are able to push without fighting the car, and that shows in both qualifying and race pace. The difference is clear when you look at how stable the car is through corners, and how cleanly it puts power down on exit. The real advantage comes from control. Ferrari are managing tire wear better, keeping their pace steady over long runs, and avoiding the sudden drop-offs that other teams are dealing with. That gives them freedom in strategy. They can extend stints, react to rivals, and stay flexible during races. It is not one big gain, it is small gains across every lap that keep adding up, and that is what makes the gap look even bigger for teams like Williams, because while one team is trying to understand its car, the other is already optimizing every detail. Ferrari are not just fast, they are predictable. Yes, and that is exactly what Williams are missing right now, which makes their situation even harder to recover from as the season moves forward. Max Verstappen is not lacking speed, but right now he is dealing with a car that is not giving him him confidence on new tires. The moment he pushes, the rear starts to move, especially on corner entry and traction zones. That forces him to hold back instead of attacking. And in modern Formula 1, that hesitation costs real lap time. When the window is this narrow, even a small instability becomes a big problem. The issue shows up even more during longer runs. The rear tires are overheating faster than expected, which means performance drops after just a few laps. Instead of building pace through a stint, Verstappen is trying to manage the car and protect the tires. That completely changes race strategy, because Red Bull cannot extend stints the way teams like Ferrari can right now, and this creates a bigger challenge for the whole team, because when your lead driver is managing the car instead of pushing it, you lose your biggest advantage. Verstappen can still extract lap time, but not consistently enough to control races, and that puts Red Bull in a position they are not used to, reacting instead of dominating, which leads straight into the next problem, the aggressive choices they made to fix it. Red Bull did not sit back and accept the problem. They pushed the car harder in development, and that came with risk. They adjusted the aero balance to chase more downforce, especially through the rear, hoping to stabilize the car in corners. On paper, it looked like a step forward. But on track, it created a new trade-off that they could not ignore. The car gained grip in certain sections, but it started overheating the tires faster and losing speed on the straights. That means any gain in corners was being paid back on the next straight, which is not a winning formula over a full lap. Verstappen could feel it immediately. The car had moments of strong performance, but it was not consistent enough to rely on. That kind of imbalance makes it very hard to build a clean qualifying lap or manage a race stint. And now Red Bull are stuck in a difficult position. If they push further in that direction, they risk making the car even harder to manage. If they step back, they lose performance they already gained. It becomes a cycle of compromise, not progress. And while they are trying to find the right balance, another team is already taking advantage of this uncertainty, especially when it comes to delivering under pressure in qualifying. Ferrari are not just fast, they are executing qualifying better than anyone right now. When it matters most, both Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz are able to put clean laps together without fighting the car. That alone gives them an advantage, because while other teams are searching for the perfect setup, Ferrari already have a stable platform they can trust. The difference shows in how they prepare their runs. Ferrari are bringing the tires into the right window at the right time, which means maximum grip when the lap starts. There are no sudden snaps, no unpredictable balance shifts, just a car that responds exactly how the driver expects. That allows both drivers to attack every corner with confidence. And in qualifying, that confidence turns into lap time. And this is where it starts to hurt the rest of the grid, because when Ferrari lock in strong grid positions, they control the race before it even begins. Clean air, better tire management, and strategic freedom all come from starting at the front. While others are trying to fix problems, Ferrari are already turning small advantages into big results, setting the stage for what happens next when race pace becomes the deciding factor. Mercedes are still searching for the balance that makes their car competitive over a full race distance. Qualifying speed is there in bursts, but when it comes to long runs, tire degradation and inconsistent handling are holding them back. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell are constantly adjusting lines and breakpoints just to keep the car stable. And that costs precious tenths every lap. The data tells a clear story. During a 12-lap run in Barcelona, Hamilton's long run average was 3 tenths slower than Ferrari and Red Bull, and Russell showed similar trends on softer compounds. Even with the same power unit and upgrades, the car struggles to maintain consistent pace under heavy fuel and high tire wear, forcing the team to rethink strategy at every race. And this is why Mercedes are under pressure. Falling behind in race pace means the team has to gamble with pit stops and tire choices, trying to claw back positions they should be defending on merit. How they respond to this challenge will define whether they can fight for wins or are stuck in recovery mode for the season.